we were having this conversation while we were walking around the office where Gaurav gave us a fair amount of tease into what he's doing here, what he saw here. Let's get this formalized now. Let's start with linear. Everyone's talking about linear television as reducing viewership, but in terms of the revenue that it generates, it's a lot higher than digital, right? So it's still relevant from that standpoint. What's your strategy here?
It's incredibly relevant, right? In a market like India, where television has done an amazing job in two ways. One is on the wide reach. So we have a huge television market in this country, and it is a market which is actually growing and will continue to grow.
What is the audience base of television according to you right now?
So I think as per the data, it's about 700 million, right? So it's a very, very large audience, and that's something that nobody can and nobody should ignore. And here at Sony, we are certainly not ignoring that.
So you're not of the camp that TV is dying?
Oh, there is no evidence of that. In fact, there is a lot of evidence that TV is set to grow in our country. It has been growing and it will grow further. I think we have had some challenges on pay TV. Right. And those challenges have been there because of the growth of connected TV. And perhaps in some households, people keep choosing between wanting to be free and wanting to be paid.
What about the advertising fraternity? Because if I look at all the corporates, their commentary is that they're directing more money towards digital than television. In fact, someone as large as Hindustan Unilever has said that for some of their new products, the proportion of spends on television is a lot lower than what it was earlier, with the spends on digital having increased. What are your thoughts on that?
No, so I think all our advertisers, and definitely Hindustan Unilever, continues to be a big believer in the power of TV. And they're demonstrating that by the checks that they're signing.
All right.
And I think if you think of it, one of the big reasons why companies like HUL believe in TV is also because TV is the best place where you can build your brands, where there's a lot of dedicated viewership that happens on a big screen and with a family. And it's entirely safe. And in fact, there are now more than one brands which, having sort of jettisoned TV or gone lightweight on TV in the last few years, are sort of coming back and spending more money behind television, right? Because they recognize that not being enough on TV is a little bit of a problem for their sales. And of course, digital is growing, as it should, because when you think of it, the number of screens in our country is exploding. And the amount that people are spending watching video is also growing. Right?
What's your average screen time?
Mine? it's really scary. All day, all night.
So the reason I ask you is because if you had to make a forecast basis past trends, at what rate is the advertising spend in the industry likely to increase at? At what rate would it be growing for television, and at what rate would it be growing for digital? What would you say for the next 3 to 5 years?
I'm not the expert on being able
but you
to
have the data.
Make forecasts, but if I want to look at the data the way it is, we'll expect television to grow, right? And
high single digits, double digits?
Yeah, it could be early double digits is what my hope will be. And I think we should continue to expect digital to grow fast.
So let's talk about the digital business then. Recently the big merger that took place between Jio and Hotstar has created a behemoth of all sorts, widest portfolio that one can imagine, etc. And at a time when the space anyway is extremely competitive, some large, deep-pocketed international players, etc. as well, what's your strategy when it comes to getting subscribers on Sony LIV, getting them to stick around with you, and differentiate your content? People who want to watch that will have no option but to catch it on Sony LIV itself. So what's your strategy, so to say?
So I think Sony LIV is our number one strategic priority.
What are the number of subscribers right now? Where do you expect it to go?
We expect it to grow phenomenally, but I'm not going to give you exact subscriber data right now. But the big thing that I would like to tell you, since you asked about our strategy, is that we feel there are 4 very strong pillars for LIV, right? The first pillar for LIV is that it has an extraordinary bouquet of amazing sports content. So whether it is all the football coming out of Europe, or it is 3 of the 4 Grand Slams, and a bunch of cricket rights from all over the world. And the stellar pick is the ACC rights that we just got a few months ago. So I think a huge continuous supply of high quality sports that means a lot, particularly to premium consumers in India, is the sort of bedrock for us. The second part of it, which is foundational, is the incredible quality content from our television network. So whether it is a CID or an Indian Idol or a KBC or MasterChef, all of these shows that start on our TV network do very well for us on our digital network. The third part is the originals that we have. And here we have had tremendous success in building some of the finest digital exclusive shows that have been built in this country. The first season of Scam, the incredible performance of Rocket Boys, Andekhi, Maharani, so Gullak. So there are amazing franchises that this company has created, and I'm hopeful that we can build on that as we go forward. And the fourth pillar for us is that we believe that we want LIV to have a play across different languages and not just in Hindi. And therefore, we are beginning to make investments in different languages like Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam. So I think we'll see a lot more in the regional domain on LIV as well.
Let's start with, the sports part of it. Yes, you do have a bunch of very well-respected properties in the world right now, but what you don't have is where a lot of the viewership is. It is the BCCI rights, it is the rights to, the ICC championships, it is the rights to the IPL itself. And one believes that, with Jio Star together and a lot of cricket content being concentrated towards one group itself, what is your sports strategy? How do you make it profitable?
Yeah, I think we have been really focused that we want to play in sports, but we need to have an eye on profitability, right? And I think in keeping with that, what the company has done over the last few years is really, really good. What we have done is built on it further in the last 6 months. And there, the idea to add Asia cricket rights has been very, very helpful to us, because now, in the next 6 to 7 months, we have roughly 35 days of top-tier premium cricket on LIV and on the Sony Sports Network. So as you know, we have rights to all cricket coming out of England, and the Indian Test team goes there this summer to play 5 Test matches. So that's in June, July, August, and then in September, October, we have the Asia Cup. So I think between these two, we have about 34 days of top-flight cricket action involving the Indian cricket team. In addition to that, we also believe that football is something that's really growing among young consumers in India. So, I have an 18-year-old son, and the one sport that is deeply interesting to him is football, right? And particularly club football at the top level. So even while I didn't work here and I worked at a competitor, we always had a Sony LIV subscription all 12 months because of his deep fanatical interest in European soccer. So I think we have amazing assets there, including 3 of the 4 Grand Slam tournaments, which bring in a very dedicated viewership and good monetization against them. So I think that's the play that we have, and we're pretty excited about it.
So for India cricket, as they go to England and the ACC that you have, etc., will I be able to watch it for free on my channel, on Sony LIV?
We'll talk more about that closer to date, but probably not. So I think we want to build a business, right, which is profitable, which allows us to keep investing in the quality of our technology, the quality of the content, and therefore having 2 different revenue streams is very important.
At what rate are you adding subscribers in Sony LIV every month?
I'm not going to talk to you about our subscriber numbers today, because I think this is early days. There's a lot that we are doing and the team is doing. This is not the time to count the subscribers. This is the time to just double up our efforts in building the product and making our package to be really, really attractive to consumers.
And do you fear there would be a price war in this space because everyone's looking at the numbers here?
No, I don't believe so. I think we're in a good space. We have marked a very different territory for ourselves. All of that is very different.
So it's more of an and strategy than an or strategy. If I have Netflix, I should have Sony LIV as well as against between Sony LIV and Netflix? That's a lot of pressure you're putting on my wallet.
I think that's for you, and that's for our consumers to decide. We don't want to decide for you. We just want to make our offerings so compelling that hopefully you'll come in and you'll sample, and then you'd like what you'd see, and therefore you'd continue to retain us.
What is typically a hit ratio for a successful?
Yeah, that's what I said. So I think if it's 1 out of 3, it's amazing.
What's the payoff for a successful piece of content in terms of
massive audience love?
Money-wise as well. Come on, let's. Is it 8x, 10x?
So that's where the money follows, right? So if you we are all finally in the business of getting attention.
Got it.
So if I've got your attention, right, we'll be able to monetize that. But what business are we in? We're in the business of getting that attention.
There are a lot of regional specialists who've come up with apps, etc. They're doing extremely well as well. So how do what's your regional content strategy here?
Yeah, very important to us because, as you know, India speaks in multiple languages and not just in any one language.
What's the current share of voice?
So I think we've largely been a network which has had a huge anchorage in Hindi and a very limited play outside of Hindi. We're sort of beginning to transition and start speaking in other voices. So I think we had a great show last year, Brinda, which was in Telugu, and that did very well on the app. Then we had another show which featured Ashutosh Govarikar, Manvat Murders, which was in Marathi. So I think we've done some test cases which have done well for us, and therefore our intent is over the next 12 to 18 months do a lot more and see how we can sort of build those franchises out. So I think that's one really important pillar. What's happening with consumers today is people are a lot more open to watching dubbed content. Right? Nobody sort of, worries about it. It's no longer a barrier. People actually really, really love watching it. So I think we are making significant investments in dubs to make the content available in multiple Indian languages, and we believe that gradually that viewership will also grow.
The big thing that everyone was talking about all of last year was the potential merger with Zee that has fallen through. But are all doors shut for that? Merger now with Zee, or is there a possibility that maybe talks revive?
I think all of that needed to be said on that got said before I came into this building. So as far as my agenda is, and for what everyone in this building is focused on doing today, is just building a great portfolio of amazing content.
If they were to come back and make another attempt at this, what would you say? What would your reaction be?
No, I think we've got a job at our hands, and me and my team, we're really focused on that.
If not Zee, then what?
Oh, I don't know. As I said, I think our clear focus right now is we've got amazing brands, and we've got a great opportunity to grow them. We have to grow them in Hindi, and we have to grow them in other Indian languages, and we have to grow them on television, and we've got to grow them on digital. So I think we've got our hands full.
Let's flip it. Instead of you buying someone, what if someone was to make an offer to the parents saying that, okay, we're interested in Sony. They have incredible IP. They have good reach. They have 2 channels which are doing extremely well, the digital as well. Would that be a possibility that Sony, the parent sells to someone?
I can't answer on behalf of the parents, but I don't believe so. I think we've been here in this market for nearly 3 decades now. And I think the Sony Group is a big believer in the potential of India. And I think this is a strategically hugely important market for the Sony Group. And therefore, what we wish to do is to continue to build a great business in India. That's my brief.
Right. How many times have you watched Suryavansham on Set India?
I watched it a few times. I quite like it, actually.
How do you value? Do you have a count of how many times it is played?
No.
Okay. Your favorite piece of content from your library?
Scam.
And your favorite piece of content not from your library?
Can it be the previous library that I created?
Either one.
Okay. Then Arya.
Arya is what you like?
Yeah.
Something that you wish you had in Sony that you missed upon, or you passed that on?
Oh, I had such a great tenure in my previous company. I was there for over 16 years. So no, I want them to have everything that me and my team there helped create. Nothing that I'd like to bring forward with me.
What about the subscriber target that you have for the next 3 years? Do they become 3x, 4x, or 5x?
It'll be great if it becomes 5x.
Okay, but 2x and 3x are the base case.
Hopefully.
I have to ask you this as we end. What do you make of this entire freedom of speech sort of debate which is currently raging online? A lot of people going independent, putting out their content on social media, and then there has been a fair amount of outrage around that and stuff as well. So, as an organization, if you were on the wrong side, how do you deal with it?
I think this is a very important and sensitive issue, and it also talks about the power that people have when you have a big megaphone in your hands, and how sort of you need to be responsible with it. So I think it's a big debate. It's an important debate, and I think we need some measured thinking and talking around it from all sides. The idea of entertainment is not an idea which is just about having a relaxing time. I think it's a little deeper than that. I think we shape minds, we shape society, we shape thinking, and therefore all of that brings in, and on good days it gives us a lot of respect and a lot of love. But all of that respect, all of that love, all of that fame also comes with some amount of responsibility, which is important to acknowledge.
Thank you so much. This was a great conversation.
Thanks a lot. Really, really good talking to you.